Good morning, viewers, and welcome once again to the WAIMM Industry Personality Profile Series. This morning, we are privileged to have Mr. Richard Adofo. He's a director for Brownfield Exploration, Kinross Gold. As is normal, he's going to tell us all about himself and how he got into the industry. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Richard Adofo, who is the man behind the name?
It's as simple as ABC. To begin with, I went through UST at that time. I did geological engineering, BSc, and then I did my service in the geological engineering department for a year. And then I took the master's in mineral exploration. And then when I finished, I went straight to Obuasi. So I was in Obuasi from 94, say formally in 94. In 96, I was seconded to BBNE at the onset of the project into the mine. And I was there for 7 months. When the project was done and the mine was beginning, I was sent back to Obuasi. And there I went on to the Kubi project and the Yamfre project, which I was heading in the drilling and the resource, and then the overall Obuasi surface exploration program. In 1999, I was seconded to the Ashanti Exploration Office in Accra. Then a year later, I was seconded to Ashanti Gold Coast Tanzania mine in Geita. I was in Geita from 2000 to 2006, working from being subtenant resource geologist to exploration manager to geology manager. And then in 2006, I joined Barrick as the geology manager for the African region. And in those years, Barrick had 4 regions, and Africa was one. And I was heading the geology, where the responsibility was mainly mine site exploration, mining geology, resource and reserves. And then in 2010, the African region was split off from Barrick's main company and became the African Barrick Gold. The African Barrick Gold decided to move its headquarters to Johannesburg, so I was transferred to Johannesburg, where I worked for 2.5 years. And then I was transferred from Johannesburg to Toronto in 2013. And I was with Barrick up to 2015 September. So end of September 2015, I moved on and joined Kinross in October 2015. Initially as a consultant for Brownfield Exploration. And then in 2016, May, I was given the opportunity to decide whether to join, and I decided to join on as in charge of global brownfields exploration, mainly responsible for mine site exploration, and then also at the corporate office being the lead person for all exploration programs. So yes, that is where I am. That's where I've been over the 20 something years.
The choice of jobs and the mining industry. How was it by accident? How did you get in?
No, it wasn't. I have a very interesting story, but to cut things short, I chose metallurgy first choice and I chose geology second choice. Then, out of the blue, I had a letter from the geological engineering department that I should come for an interview. It was a bit strange, but I don't know how form was changed from metallurgy to geological engineering. But then I took it because at the end of the day, I could be anywhere. And then I went through the geological engineering. Initially, I wasn't more interested in the mining industry. I was more interested in the environmental and hydro. But then when I was retained in the university to do my national service, I started doing a bit of work with some of the lecturers, and then I realized that no, it would be easier getting onto the mining industry. So my MSc mineral exploration was purely based on the fact that I now wanted to go into the mineral industry. So yes, even though I started thinking of being a chemical engineer, a geologist.
Actually, you're every day on this screen. No? You've seen it all from the grassroots to the top. Um, what has been your strength in all this? What's been your, my friend, if you can at least tell us some of your major highlights, which you have so many.
Yeah, it is a simple but a difficult thing always to say. Simple to me, but difficult to somebody, because some of the things that you go through as a professional, you have to sacrifice sometimes. In some areas you don't. When I joined Ashanti and I was asked to go to BBN, I was asking myself, how can I go and live in a bush? I mean, now if I tell anybody BBN wasn't what it is now, you won't believe it. In 1996, there was no telephone, not even a phone line. Mobile phones were not all that there at that time. So we were in a place where you hardly will have telephone contact with your family. And so that sacrifice is there. And then the will and the urge to learn. Now, in every profession, if you don't have that desire to learn, you're not going anywhere. And also, to take up challenges and move with it is what makes you succeed. So yes, to tell you the truth, the most important thing is the will to learn and the will to move forward. It's a profession that you might go in and think you could chase for money, but if you want to chase for money, money won't take you anywhere. It is your ability to grasp and have a very strong understanding of what you are doing, because it's a very competitive environment. Yes. So you really need to learn to be able to rise above, to be able to move on.
Yeah, you've seen the industry from almost all the tops in the world. Uh, you've come a long way, seen how it's evolved from the old times to now. Back in the days, we were even doing maths on bus. Now I think we do everything on computer. And what has been a major change? Have we come up in terms of professionalism, or we are still marching towards that? Are we there yet?
It depends. It depends on where you are. Yes, in the olden days, if I say olden days, in the early days, one has to understand the geology. One has to understand the whole work that he's doing. Now it's been easy, and because it's been easy, I think we have young guys who want to do everything on the computer.
Yeah.
But geology is not on the computer. It's a tool that's used. So the changes that has come in is somewhat good also. The technology that has come in helps, because you tend to start a model in the evening, go and sleep and come in the morning and try and check whether it is done or not. So that has helped, that has changed. But geology is geology. It takes millions of years for the geological terrain to change. So So the core concept hasn't changed, but it is the tools that we use that have changed. And maybe the tools have also made some people a bit lazy than the previous guys.
Yeah, because we haven't a close and personal chat. Start with Adofo, the director of Brownfield Exploration, Kinross Gold. He believes as professionals we need to sacrifice and be a bit more committed towards work. We also need to have the desire to learn, and we also need to take up challenges and move with them. Richard, would you want to share some of the most important highlights in your career?
Well, yes, I have some of them. Sometimes it's difficult to say credit to your own achievement, but at least I've done some few things which but I didn't do it alone. I must say, yes, I had people helping me. And the first one is when I was sent to the year in 1996. We had only 2 months to finish some drill program, get the data ready for a consultant to complete a model that we had started earlier, and then to be able to finalize a backable document for the project. And drilling around stopes is not that easy, but we managed to do it. If I say we, like myself and the team, we were able to do it, and when we were given that time, we were able to finish at least a week before that time. So when the consultant came in, all the data and everything has been done, which was great. And also when I went to Gator, when we were starting the Gator mine, I was fortunate to be involved in setting up the initial grid control modeling processes. So it is like taking the geology, grid control, modeling it, demarcating it in the pit and survey, and then running a reconciliation. So it was a good thing that the group was able to do it. But later on it was changed, but at least for the first 2 years we were able to set something in place for that. And then also in terms of resource modeling, I have done a lot. I've run models for so many areas, and then as you said, I've seen a lot. I've visited a lot of mines. I think the only place that I haven't gone yet, which I know me working in Kinross, I'll be able to go, is Russia and then China. So maybe after Kinross, if I go to another company, I might go to China. But that has been good. I won't say that as an achievement, but it is something that has set me up to understand the whole spectrum of the industry. I've seen it, how it is done somewhere, and that is something which I always hold on to.
And then, following on from that, would you want to talk about the standards? I mean, compare the West African region to the other hubs, the standards in the industry.
Yeah, we all have the same standards, but I think the thing you need to understand is how we go about what we do. There are differences in Africa compared to some areas, and a typical example is if you take an RC rig, a reverse circulation rig in Africa, you have 4 or 5 people on the rig. If you go to Australia, you probably will have 3 people on the rig. If you take a diamond rig in Africa, let's say in Ghana or in Tanzania, you have 4 people on the diamond rig. You go to US, you have 2 people on the diamond rig, or 3. In fact, 3 is the average. It's the same drill rig. It's doing the same size. It does almost the same meters. That is just the way it is done. In terms of safety standards is the same standard everywhere. In terms of how we measure safety, we measure it the same. So, and because most companies are global, you can see what other people are doing, or we can compare from one side to another region to the other. So the standards are the same, except that the way we do things in Africa is different.
That brings me to the next point: sustainability of the mining industry. Are we doing things right, especially in this part of
See, the question of are we doing things right is personally, and I like to use the word personally, is yes and no. And the things that to me we are not doing right is that we tend to have a high cost in African mines. In some areas, some of the sites in Africa have very good cost, which is comparable to other countries. But one of the biggest problems we always have is, to me, is the cost. Somebody will ask why the cost high in Africa, the cost low in, say, Nevada. And one of the areas I'll look at is, for example, inventory. When you are in Africa, you might have to stock quite a big amount of inventory, whilst in the US you will not do that. If a machine breaks down in the US, you just give a call, and the next day, or even that same day, you get a part. But if you are somewhere in Africa, push somewhere in the western region, and your machine breaks down to get the call to Accra, if it's not in Accra, it has to be bought from somewhere, South Africa or Europe. It has to come in, go through all these custom processes before it gets you. So in Africa, we have to stock. Some mines will have like 10 million worth or over of inventory. That is money that is sitting there not doing anything. So, and that is also an additional added cost. You won't get it in some parts of other areas.
do you see any policy difference as well?
No, it will interest you that some of not, I won't say different, but every country has its own way of doing things. Yeah. I heard somebody say to me that he doesn't understand why in Ghana an exploration company is taxed. If you look at it, he had a point, because exploration, you're always searching. Yeah. You might find, you might not find. But despite that, there are other areas where it's like you go to the US, it could take you 5 years to get a permit. You could get a permit 3 years in, say, Tanzania, maybe in Ghana. It doesn't mean that the 5 years is worse. The process you go through is to get a permit probably is different. And it doesn't mean that that is more stringent than here, but it depends. So in terms of policy, it comes back to the people or the country and its culture. The other thing I used to say is that I don't like when people talk about the government. Government is the people. So it is not just the government, it is the people that are doing things. So yes, the policies might be almost the same, kind of similar. Most of these mining policies are written based on what is being done in somewhere that is good, that is adopted. People look at Ghana's mining law and they say, no, this is good, so they can adopt it. So most of the time, these policies are almost close to each other, but it is how it is carried out.
Viewers, we having a close and personal chat with Mr. Adofo, the director Yeah, Kinross Gold. Your current role, do you want to?
No, this brownfield exploration is in a bigger sense of the exploration entity. You always will have the greenfields and you always have the brownfields. So the brownfields is where you explore, or I'll say, in your own backyard. So you have your pits, you have your frames. Your intent is to extend whatever you have. While the greenfields goes in and search for new ore bodies. So my role is purely in the area where the company is exploring within its own mine. So we look at where we have a mineralization, where we've mined or where we are mining, and see if we can extend it. So the main idea is just drill to extend current resources along strike and down to.
Professionalism and professional development in the industry, especially in West Africa. Are we getting any close to current trends? Are professionals being developed in sync with the trends in the industry?
Yeah, it's. I've not looked at the way our institutions are going now, but I think for Ghana, we have the mining professional programs, which is comparable to any of the professional courses that I've seen outside. I've done all my education in Ghana except uh, I did a Post Graduate Diploma in Executive MBA outside. But geology is geology, yes. And there are some very good geologists in Africa. There are some very good geologists in Australia. The same way there are some very bad geologists in Africa, also in Australia, in other parts of the world. In terms of the development and the program, I think it is right. Ghana is, you travel outside and you see a lot of Ghanaians. When I was in Barrick at that time had 27 mines on a global role when I was the director for geology. I had the opportunity to travel to some of the sites. It's interesting that you go to each of the sites, there's a Ghanaian. So one day I was with an Australian guy. We were touring the Australian mines. There were 9 mines of Barrick in Australia. We're going through from mine to mine. Every time, everywhere we go, there's a Ghanaian. And one of the guys asked me, "Wow, do you have Ghanaians all over the place?" Yes. What I tell them that look, we have 3 institutions that train geologists, and then if you bring the mining, we have a whole school of mines in Ghana. So the Ghanaian is done well, and those guys who have really done well are doing well. In terms of how the quality, I'm not sure what it is now, but in my time and what we have managed to do going forward is it's okay and good.
Is there anything you reckon we go back, we revisit as industry professionals? Any practice?
Yeah, from a geological point of view, I have an Australian friend who used to say that geology without colors is not. And then I said, "Oh, but you can get colors on the screen." And he said, "No, I'm talking about where you have different coloring pencil in your pocket." Personally, I think you just don't need to do things always on the computer. You need to understand it in 3D. Yeah. I think we have people who don't see the 3-dimensional things. They only see it on the computer. Yeah. But I would suggest that students learn how to do it from the scratch. That will give them a good understanding of what they're doing. So we should not just throw away the way we color, the way we generate our own sessions instead of just having the sessions from the screen. Doing it will get you involved and make you a bit, to me, that is what I believe. somebody will think the computer is okay to do.
And Richard, we will want you to at least give a message to the up and coming professionals, those who are in schools, and then also those who are currently in the system. Things you want them to look up to, things you think we've fallen short of.
I think what I will tell any young, and that's what I've been doing, any young guy is that life is basically based on the choices you make. And I did explain that if you really want to do something, you must learn. And if you learn and you practice it, you'll be good at it. You have to take the challenges and also have to work hard. I think some of the young guys, because of computers, will want to sit by the computer without going to the field. Like geology is in the field, from geology point of view. Even in mining, everything is in the field. We can't just design something on the screen and think that is the end of it. And then also, there's something that I always say, that we tend to have a different standard compared to what is elsewhere. Maybe it is the way, maybe it's a cultural thing, or maybe it's the way we behave. The Ghanaian sometimes wants everything free, but does not want to work for it. And then also, the Ghanaian there are people who want to get rich quickly. But I think you have to go through the ladder and move from one level to the other by learning and improving yourself. As I mentioned, that you go to, say, US and you see a drill rig, there are 2 people, and you come to Ghana, there are 5 people. I think we need to look at how we work here in Africa and how we work and how people also work. The standards are the same. We all go by the same standards. Why do we have a lot more people here? And then the other thing that needs to be looked at, which is also strange, African mines tend to be expensive. So we need to ask ourselves why they are expensive. Somebody will say, I don't get the pay that the guy in US gets. So the question is, if he gets more pay than I get, then why isn't their mine expensive than ours? So the other things that we do, that we don't do it well. And I think we should do away with what I would call the Ghana standards and maintain the standards what is done everywhere.
Whereas we still having a close and personal chat with Mr. Richard Adofo, the director BF Kinross Gold, and Mr. Adofo wants us to look at life as a series of choices, and it all depends on the choice we make. We should always also challenge ourselves to break tasks. And above all, we should get to the field. We should know that geology, mining, everything is on the ground. We should also be patient as we go through the mill. At this stage, this is what interests our viewers a lot. Is there anything about you that was surprising? Like dancing, like walking in the rain?
No. I don't have anything that was surprising. I once went to the office and I had a young assistant who said, "So Richard, what did you do throughout the weekend?" I said, "Well, I sat with my daughters and we watch movies the whole day." And that is what I like to do, but I also like to read. I read a lot of motivational books. Like when I was coming, I bought a book on emotional intelligence. I'm just reading it. It was interesting because I was reading an article and so okay, then I'll buy the book. And I also read a lot about motivational talks and write-ups. And I always want to compare what I've seen to what is being done here. And it's a bit of a problem when you tend to compare. Like when I come to Accra, yesterday I was in the car with my friend and he said, "You, when you are driving here, I think if we don't take care, you get a heart attack." Some of the things that we see here. So, well, I like things that are challenging. And then, as I said, in my spare time, I like to read because I always traveled from home to work. I have the free time. It's the 30 minutes that I'm on the train, I read. And I always challenge my brains. I don't want my brains to slow down. Even though I haven't done the PhD yet, maybe one day I will go back and do a PhD.
What should we expect from you going forward?
In terms of
The industry.
well, personally, I have a very strong view on the way our industry is being run in the country. It is not the companies itself that I have a strong view. It is the people. And personally, I don't like using the word the government because I think that we could change government and change government. Ghana won't change if the people does not change. If we do certain things here, we might not get what we want to achieve. And it is the people. The people need to understand. I told a friend that he should try and go and visit a mine in the US and then compare with what we do here. Yes, the next answer was, the guy in the US is paid more than I'm paid. That is what I also say. If I get a chance, I would wish that there's a law which will say in Africa, there's no expatriates in Africa. Let's take the US. Somebody is from Massachusetts and he's got a job in Nevada. He takes his bag and goes to Nevada. Yeah. He is not an expatriate. Exactly. If I get a job in Burkina Faso, I'm considered an expatriate. Meanwhile, it's just I can drive from here to that place. Exactly. So I think internationally there should be some form of law that will regulate labor. In that sense, you could get people working in every area without the person going to different conditions. Look, there are a lot of Ghanaians outside working. Some in Mali, some in Senegal. But the money is different from what they will get here. Yeah. So my whole point is that if everybody is considered like a normal expatriate sort of in terms of salary, then we will have these very good brains coming here. But not that alone. If the conditions are favorable, you will get people coming down to work. We have expatriates coming in. Expatriate is an expert. I think that's where the word comes from. It's an expert. I have a small paper that I'm just drafting in a point. It talks about that person should not be afraid to call an expert. Yes, when people are very good in what they are doing, you need to call them. That is an expert. But if the person is coming in to work just like working, so if a Ghanaian goes to say Burkina Faso and is not going to impact a specific or knowledge, but he is considered as an expatriate, Why won't the same person working here in Ghana be considered that way? And because of that, we get all these good guys going out. And we need to find a way to make the industry competitive, not just for expatriates. I work in Canada. I'm not an expatriate. The Canada doesn't treat me as an expatriate. If I go to work in the US, it's not going to treat me as an expatriate. So we should look at something like that. And then also, personally, I think we should also not look at just, we should also look at how we handle and manage things in this country. Living in Ghana is tough.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's really, really tough.
Yes. Yeah.
You sit in a car for about 2 hours to come to work.
Yeah.
And so if things are good, I'm sure people will come down. If the economic conditions are good, people will come down. So if somebody will say, so are you asking that we pay everybody quite well? Yes, but then the person works for his money. So that's why I said that maybe we should take away 30 people. But then the question is, the Ghanaian will say, why do you take away some people and increase other people's salary? But if we want to be very competitive, we need to do that. And the industry, the mining industry, some people will say it is destructive. But again, the laws and the regulations are there. I know the laws are there. And I know the big companies are the laws.
Given the opportunity, would you want
You see, being a geologist, it gives me a lot. One thing that for ethical reasons, the geologists play a very good role, not only to the company, but also to the government, because the geologists understand the rocks. He should be able to tell the company that this will generate acid, give information and make sure that this is done properly, so that if it is waste, how do we put it somewhere? And then it's broad. I can move out of the mining industry and go somewhere work. So no, I'm not going to really think about it.
It's been good coming your way today, and thank you so much for that.
You're always welcome. Thank you.